To the Town of Saltillo board meeting. At this time, I'm going to call the meeting to order. This is Tuesday, March 7th, 2023 at 6 p.m. Meeting has been called to order. If you will rise for invocation.
Lord, we love you tonight. Again, we give you thanks, and we're honored to be able to represent our beautiful town. And we ask that every decision made here tonight be made according to your will. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
may be seated. I'm going to call the roll. Alderman Carter. Here. Alderman Wood.
Here.
Alderman Morgan.
Here.
Alderman Maynard.
Here.
Alderman Reeves.
Yes, sir.
All are present, and we have a quorum for tonight's meeting. Any additions to the agenda? Okay, I'm gonna add 3 items to the agenda. Purchase request from the Saltillo Fire Department, purchase request for flagpole at the River Landing, and appointment to the Planning Commission and Board of Zoning Appeals. So we'll add those items to the agenda. I believe you all have received your packet prior to this meeting, other than those 3 items mentioned. And the approval of the minutes are ready. Do we have any motion to approve minutes?
I so move.
Motion made by Alderman Carter. Second.
A second.
Second by Alderman Morgan. Any discussion, questions, amendments to the minutes? For those of you that are just joining us, the board made a decision last month not to read all the minutes aloud. The meeting is recorded by Mr. Jameson over there in the corner. It's posted monthly. The city also has begun their own digital recording of each meeting, get us a little bit more up to date and modern. And then our recorder still takes the minutes and writes them down and prepares them. So something a little different we're doing. So they, it's not required that the minutes are read aloud, but you can see them on the video. It's pretty much the same thing. So any additions, any questions? We'll call for the question. Alderman Reeves, approval.
Yes, sir.
Alderman Maynard.
Yes.
Alderman Morgan.
Yes.
Alderman Wood.
Yes.
Alderman Carter.
Yes.
Minutes have been approved as presented. Next item of business, we don't have any resolution tonight. We do have an ordinance. This is from last month, Park Ordinance 2023. There was a slight change in the ordinance in section 1. This ordinance 2023 is an ordinance for the park protecting the citizens and park property in the town of Saltillo. And section 1 is it shall be unlawful to operate motor scooters, motorized bicycles, 3- and 4-wheelers, golf carts, ATVs, or motorcycles within the city parks of Saltillo. Notice that we did remove bicycles. It shall be unlawful to ride horses and walk horses anywhere in the boundaries of the park. That was a pre-existing note, and it dates back to at least 1952. Okay. A motion to approve ordinance for parks.
I make a motion, we approve.
Motion by Alderman Wood,
I second it.
second by Alderman Maynard. Any discussion? Discussion. No discussion. Alderman Maynard. Approval.
Yes.
Alderman Morgan.
Yes.
Alderman Wood.
Yes.
Alderman Carter.
Yes.
Ordinance approved. Okay, next item on the agenda are the agenda addition. This is a purchase for the Saltillo Fire Department. Our fire chief here, Kenny Young, is here. He can address any questions, concerns you may have. I will help you out a minute there if I can. Chief Young, can I help you out a little bit with it? Know about it? So there was a grant that the Hardin County Fire Department applied for. I didn't really know about it, but Chief Young called me and said, hey, we got the grant, we got an opportunity to buy some breathing apparatus, how many do we want to buy? So I called Fire Chief Martin and asked him some details about it, because I haven't heard about it, didn't know about it. You probably didn't either, but they got a pretty big grant. These breathing apparatuses, I got a bunch of scribble notes on your paper. They're about $8,000 a piece if you don't have a grant. Actually $8,085.78 if you don't have a grant. And so in the meantime, previous Mayor Lowry and Chief Young and Melvin Martin, they set aside 6 of these units, correct? Set aside 6 units for us to potentially buy. Go ahead and tell them about it. Go ahead.
Now, Chief Martin, when he got with me and asked if I wanted to be included on the grant. This dates back about 2 years. Cause he got denied the first time around, then he got reapplied the next time and he got approved. We got together and reserved, he's accounting 6 packs for us. Now what this is the breathing apparatus firemen need when they enter a burning structure. That's to keep us safe from all the toxic fumes. And that's what these are. Now ISO requires us to have at least 4 in our department. Our existing packs are reaching outdated. And they're gonna have to be replaced anyway due to being outdated. And as the Mayor pointed out, these things are running over $8,000 per pack, something we're gonna have to replace anyway. Now what has happened with this grant is between the time that the bid was received, the grant was approved, price increased. So what we're looking at is an increase of about $1,000 per pack, a little over $1,000
Yes,
per pack. So any packs that we get, we're gonna have to pay this, well, Mayor has the exact number, but a little over $1,000 per pack. Now, Hardin County reserved 6 for us. That does not mean we have to purchase 6, but we need 4. At bare minimum, we need 4 of these things.
yeah, go ahead, I'm sorry.
And like I said, the Mayor can quote the exact number of the purchase amount, that'd be our cost,
Yeah.
which is a little over $4,000 for 4 packs. But that's what we need is 4 packs. Even though he reserved 6, we don't have to buy the 6. They can recycle them within Hardin County, and I'm sure there's places they can use them at. But we've got to have at least 4.
How long before the other 2 go out of
2
date?
2 years,
2 years.
How long do they last?
15 years.
15 years.
So these, you know, if you're gonna have a fire department and you want them to come to your house and rescue you, they gotta have this equipment. 4 would outfit basically the department and 1 truck basically, you know.
That's what our engine one,
Yeah.
we
So-
got it designated to
Yeah,
carry.
but what if happens, one of them go wrong, bad, goes down,
Yeah.
so I think we definitely need 6.
Yeah. Well, you've got 2 that are gonna be out of date real soon, and if you can buy 6 now for $1,000 each,
Mhm.
and 2 years down the road, you're gonna have to come up, you know, a little bit more money, gonna be $16,000 for 2. You know, that's something certainly to consider. So, any other questions about this? This is a purchase request. I
So do
will
we
make
think we
it,
need
yeah.
6 or do we think we need 8?
Well,
I mean, I think that's kind of what, are we teetering on that? Is
he,
that what it
he,
is?
speaking
six-
as a fire chief, go ahead.
Well, 6 is the max that we're looking to purchase.
Okay, so we're just gonna get 6 is the most we can get.
Yes,
Right now,
yes, yeah, they
Oh,
set
okay.
aside for Saltillo
Okay,
6 units if we wanted them. We were not obligated to pay for all of them, but as Fire Chief explained, a minimum of 4 is gonna get your department in good standing with the ISO rating,
ISO.
and you're gonna be able to continue on for 15 years with those 4 units.
This also includes one spare air pack, or air bottle per pack. So we're getting 4 packs and 8 bottles. So each one has a spare bottle.
I think we need to purchase 6.
You wanna make a motion?
I'll make a motion that we purchase 6 at $1,090.78 each.
Okay, so a motion has been made, we have a second?
I second.
All right, so Alderman Reeves, second motion, discussion. I'm gonna tell you that 6 are gonna cost you $6,543 out of general fund budget. And so, like
This
he
was
said.
not, excuse me,
Yeah.
this wasn't already budgeted.
This was not budgeted, it was something that was discussed, as he mentioned, 2 years prior, and it just so happened the grant came about, and I believe in between, that grant coming in, Mayor Lau resigning, that I think there was maybe a little bit of disconnect, we wasn't sure it was coming until it was here. So, they knew they were gonna try to apply for it again, but I didn't know, and you probably don't know, and the community probably doesn't know, that our fire department, has other things that they're gonna be talking to you about, I'm sure, when we get into this budget season. Chief and I haven't spoken detail, but like I just mentioned earlier in the planning session, that we just bought 2 batteries for the fire truck. So when the chief arrives, they're gonna call, he can hit the key and it's gonna crank every time. So that was like $300, and we didn't plan that either. That was just something that 6-year battery didn't make it but 5. And that happened, so we may have some other equipment needs as we move into that 2024. So, any other discussion? Okay. Call for question, Alderman Morgan,
Yes.
Alderman Wood, Alderman Carter,
Yes.
Alderman Reeves,
Yes, sir.
Alderman Maynard.
Yes.
Motion passes. You need to call chief, tell him we need 6 of them now, we just passed. That's what he set aside for. All right, so, okay. I'll do it again with my agenda, set it aside, I do that both every meeting. Here it is right here. All right, that's your thing set aside. All right, Planning Commission appointment to the BZA. I'm gonna recommend that Ms. Betty Kimbrell be added to the Planning Commission and the Board of Zoning Appeals. She has agreed to take the position. We did have a resignation by Roger Gant on that commission, and we are gonna fill his spot. Any question or, so the approval of, Miss Betty Kimbrell, are there any that oppose her appointment? She will be added to the Planning Commission Board of Zoning Appeals, and that committee will meet March 28th at 6 p.m. right here. Purchase request for flagpole at the river landing. I've had a few calls and a few visits and things about the flagpole at the river landing. I provided to you a packet of the cost. It's not cheap. The board has an opportunity to make a motion or to request, or to take it back and request further information. That is a 35-foot flagpole. It will be 5-foot base. It'll be, I think, 0.156 wall thickness of that pole, and it will come with a gold spear on top. The 6x10 flag is not included. The current flag has outused its life, I think, is the pole. It's fiberglass. I don't know if you've been down there to look at it. It's leaning. It's about to fall. You couldn't fly a flag on it right now in the wind we've had the last few days. It would be over. So there is a recommendation to replace that flagpole, and you see the bids in front of you. I don't have my copy when we gave it to you, Ms. Benita. But yeah, these are all online companies that I was able to find. The lowest bid from Federal Flags is $25.98. Shipping, I believe, is free on that one. So, We have a motion to approve, or,
How tall was the one that was up there?
I believe that flag, you may know more than I do, but I think it's 25 feet maybe. It's setting down the hill a little bit, so it doesn't look as tall. We are thinking of relocating it a little further out to the boat area, set it down the hill a little bit, so.
Which one did you say was the cheapest, the 25.98, who's that?
Yeah, that is Federal Flag, it's an online company, I'm not sure what state they're out of.
This one's out of Atlanta, and but it doesn't say free shipping on that, or maybe I'm,
Yeah, I see 533
Yeah.
shipping. May just be
I
something.
guess it's one continuous pole, it's not like something that you, right?
It's not a telescopic.
So you
pole.
can't go after it to save $500 to Atlanta, cause you don't have, I mean, it's 35 feet long or more. Is that, that's what you're saying?
I'm not following what you just said.
It doesn't like, my flagpole on the house, you know, it has pieces.
Telescopic.
Telescopic, yeah.
It's not telescopic, it is
One
one
pole.
solid piece of
Yeah.
aluminum. Yeah,
It's a lot of shipping. I guess it's gotta come over a tractor.
all right, so that, y'all want to table that for future discussion? I haven't heard a motion.
No, I make a motion that we take the bid on the best bid for the flagpole.
I think we
We
need
need
to
a
table
flag.
it.
Okay.
I think we need to table it. We need to know if that's free shipping or if that's, because you think it's free, but it's got 533
Well,
and the
the-
other one's got a question mark. I think we need to know that.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
Sir?
the 25.98, that includes shipping. The flag is just $2,064. Shipping's $533.
On the federal flag, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that 25.98 includes shipping.
That's still the better of any of the, that is by far the best, if they're quilling. I make a tell me what we need.
Well, you made a motion.
Yep,
Is there a second?
I'll second.
A second by Alderman Carter. So, any further discussion? We got a second on the floor, discussion?
I
Okay.
just think we need to make sure it's about the shipping.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I believe
I mean,
he just read it off
Yeah, that's
down
what
there.
it says,
He
yeah.
just read it off, this is in the packet. And I
With
realize
the
that you
shipping,
just got
it's
this
still-
today, I would try to send these out a little earlier in the future, but we just got the final detail, and I got some detail from TWRA that they're not gonna pay for it, so, just, share with you that.
the lowest offer, the lowest estimate or bid includes the shipping, so it's still, whether it's the shipping, that's still anywhere from 500 to, 1,500 cheaper than any of the other bids,
Well, the next,
including the
on
shipping.
the third page, you got flag, pose, et cetera, 2142, free shipping question mark.
Yeah, you have to look at the size and material and the thickness of the pole. That's why that bid, even though it was the lowest, it was not the same as the other flags. So it's 35 foot, 5 foot diameter and .156 thickness, as I recall. And, I'm pretty sure American flags do not include shipping. That one is a pretty high price company, $3,900 for that.
On the front one, it has, it's the 35 foot, but it doesn't have the inch on it.
Yeah.
You know what it is?
The flag poles, et cetera,
The
is
first-
5
The
inch.
the first one, it just had 35 foot, but it doesn't say anything about it. It says rated for 91 miles per hour.
Yeah, that would be the 156, they're all kind of the same, they got hurricane ratings and stuff like that on them. And so, it's 91 by 1, and it is, I believe, I'm pretty sure that it is the same as the federal flags, the 35, 5-foot diameter, .56. The $3,900 bid, I think, is a 7-inch base. And they're all external Hellier, I believe, yeah. Any other questions? All right. Approval of Alderman Morgan,
Yes.
Alderman Wood,
Yes.
Alderman Carter,
Yes.
Alderman Reeves.
I'd be the first to vote yes on a flagpole. I'm very patriotic, but if we don't, there's a $316 swing here between these two estimates. We don't know if this version is the cheapest one or not, because we don't know if this one includes shipping. And I think, with, you know, to be good stewards of the city's money, we should table this until we know which one's the better bid.
Well,
So my answer is no.
all right, okay. All right, so the motion passes for the purchase of the flag. However, Mr. Turner just mentioned to me that he might have an opportunity for us to save some money. And because it is approved purchase, that we don't have to run out and just do it right now. We got a little time if we need to bring this back or pull it back, but we'll inquire. Mr. Turner, we approved a purchase through that low bid. And I want to make sure you understand that in our new purchasing plan, anything over $2,500, $24,999, I have to have board approval, okay? So if it were me and I wanted to get a flagpole that's adequate and cheap, I would have already bought one for $2,100. But I think that one is substandard, that in comparison, in my talking to each one of these flag companies personally. But Mr. Turner, we'll visit your option and we'll bring back to the alderman. But we have approved the purchase of a flag, a brand new one. But if we have an opportunity to be good stewards, as Alderman Reeves said, we need to inquire about that before we just run out and buy it in the morning. Okay, so we'll hold off on that for just a minute. Appreciate that, Mr. Turner.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, so mayor's report. Let me get to that for a second. We do have a beer board meeting after this. This meeting is going to be a little short. I have been somewhat silent. Actually, I've been completely silent on social media regarding the recent accident, fatality at the boat ramp. I would say to all of you and the family that that is a tragic accident. We don't know complete details yet from the THP about what may have also been included in that incident. However, that person lost their life, and for the family, we're certainly sorry that happened, and keeping them in our thoughts and prayers. But since Friday night at about 9:30 or 9:40, I've been dealing with a lot of different partners in what's going on. Talked to the highway department, which that's not a highway, city street, but they are experts in that field. Today I had a great meeting with TWRA and a representative from Congressman Kustoff's office. Ballou, yeah, Monty Ballou. They had a great insight. They are experts in boat ramps and safety. Talked to Mayor Kevin Davis about his experience in these kind of things. I've talked to Hardin County Fire Chief Melvin Martin about his ideas and his experience in safety. And I'm here to tell you that in my career, I have been responsible for the lives of children and adults for my entire career. This is not the first time I've been part of an incident that has great scrutiny to it about safety, liability, all those kind of things. So I want you to know that because it may look like we're not doing a lot, doesn't mean we are. That city street and boat ramp, there's a partnership there. You just can't go out and start doing stuff on the TWRA boat ramp and Tennessee property without having lots of approval. So the things that we know that we are going to be doing, and I've even talked to contractors, electrical contractors, to help restring the safety light be a flashing stoplight at the end of our city street, that it has not been there for quite a long time. The experts say from TDOT that that would be something that we probably want to do. It is not why the person run off in the river. The experts say that the city signage is good signage. It is all there. It's a lot of signage. There are some things, yes, the city can improve, and there are some things that TWRA can help us with as far as signage. But this tragic accident, that the city just cannot run out and start doing things. But certainly the lights, we will fence post some signage down through there. The Department of Transportation is going to help us look at putting some new warning signs on a new reflective background about danger, Tennessee River ahead, stop bar on the street, reflective, stop ahead sign on the street. So there are several things that we can do as a city. It's not going to happen real quick because there's a lot of process and procedures to go through, and TWRA is going to help us do some things on the ramp. One of the things we're going to do is we're going to replace the old lights that are down there around the marina and the stop sign with the new updated
Not the
LED.
marina, the,
The boat ramp. So at the end of the city street, there's a light on the left, that will be a new LED. And then the lights around the boat ramp, we'll change those out to LED to brighten it up a little bit down there. TWRA has not made a complete commitment to things that they will do other than some additional signage. They have authorities and processes and meetings that they have to go through, but they have, they're going to help us with this. We're partners in this issue to prevent any other tragic accident. You can't stop anything from happening, but you can certainly make improvements after reviewing everything that transpired, still waiting on some details from a few other things involving in an accident that we don't have complete facts. We're pretty sure what occurred, but we don't have complete facts. And so once we get complete facts, we'll know a little bit more about what's there. I will say that regardless of what you've seen in social media, on TV, on the radio, that we have had several people lose their life down there. But a lot of them have been, as tragic as it is to lose a life, a lot of them have also been part of impaired driving. So there are some things that we're going to try to do to help prevent any future accidents. So you will see more things coming out of what we're trying to do there, but it won't be a very quick fix. That is a very popular boat ramp, and that we're going to make sure that people in the community and our visitors have access in and out of that area, and we'll try to make improvements from there. So like I said, we are reviewing everything involved with our police, street, highway patrol, and everything. So do y'all have, members of the board, have any questions about any of that? Okay. So it is unfortunate what occurred, but we are looking at all those issues involved in that. I thought I had another note here on the mayor's report. I did go to a couple of meetings with Southwest Development. They're going to help us with some grant opportunities that are going to be coming up, be it improvements in the boat ramp area, be it improvements in the park or wherever it may be. So they got a lot of help there. I'll be at a broadband meeting tomorrow for people in the community that broadband is coming your way. This is not an infrastructure meeting. It's about getting services through broadband, internet, things like that to rural areas. So it'll be a great meeting there in Jackson. So as far as mayor's report, I think that's all I can give you at this point. Let's look at our finance for a moment. You should have a budget report in front of you. I'm gonna through my paper, I get all mixed up over here. Here. Well, yeah, I might need to borrow. Here we go. I got it all mixed up in here. So account balances sheet, if you look at that, APR funds $98,034.84. You see street aid, $32,641. River Day Fund, $11,870. Parks, $4,798. Ms. Benita, on a River Day, that's part of that grant for the Heritage Festival in that account, right? So, the Heritage Festival coming up, April 14th and 15th, the Tourism Department for Hardin County gave us $6,000 to host that event, and so that's why you see $11,000 in River Day. So all that money will be, the $6,000 will be toward that Tennessee River Rendezvous. Mike Field is the organizer, the event creator, and chairman, and all that kind of stuff. Fire is only $1,800, so we'll be transferring some money over there to purchase this equipment. And general fund, $175,620. So that is money actually in the bank to date. We have 4 years to spend the APR funds, and that's what part of our planning session was today. Any questions on that? That is actually what's in the bank. Any questions? Look at your city expenditures revenues report. I want to make sure that you are clear. I mentioned this earlier in our other meeting, that year-to-date property tax, we've received about 85% of that at this time. Do we have a updated number on that as far as the amount we received?
I thought we said 80, I thought you said 80%.
80% of what we've currently collected. Here it is right here. $50,659 tax payments as of 3/3, $50,659, and that is about 80% of our tax base. We have about 20 people who have submitted the tax relief forms, and we've had a few others that are waiting on that information. So we have, quite a few tax relief. So figured you would all want to know that. And it is, if you haven't paid your taxes this past due, if you haven't already postmarked it. So let's try to, and like I said, most people are doing real well with that. If you look at your expenditures, I don't know if you have any questions about any of those. I know you've had time to review this. Our tax revenue is on track as far as where we are year to date. The final sheet, revenues over expenditures, a difference of $99,834. We're doing really well with our budget. We are beginning to spend a little money on some things that need to be done. Failed to mention in the mayor's report, part of our expenditures this month were the fire chief's car, new lights. We've cleaned all the old decals off of it because it wasn't done correctly. It didn't have the proper reflective striping and things on it. He couldn't really even drive it because he couldn't use the lights because they were police car lights, so we had to change all those out. Had to have an alternator on it, a few other things, I can't remember what else we did to it, but so you'll see in our budget it'll be under the repairs and supplies is where some of that would come out of. The fire department didn't have enough money in their account to do all what we were doing. You have any questions about that? We're doing really well on our budget, as you see on the final page, revenues over expenditure. Any questions? All right, no questions there. Do we have a report from any alderman?
First River Day meeting tomorrow night.
River Day coming up. All right, our senior citizen director is here. Ms. Brewer, do you have anything you would like to share with the board?
None other than, nobody hadn't brought me no food in there. I'm not feeding out of my kitchen, but anyway, when you go to the store, pick up a loaf of bread or some hot dogs and drop them off, I appreciate that.
So senior citizens are looking for donations to support their activities, in the food department. They like to, you know, play games and discuss and read books and eat a little bit while they're there.
Yeah.
So, Chief Young, you have any additional report other than what you shared with us?
Another thing, we've got, expenditure coming up is for our annual pump test for each vehicle that pumps water. It's coming up March the 29th, and they're $200 per truck. It's something we have to do, because if we don't get them, it's a certification, it's an annual certification. If we don't get them pump test, we can't even, use them vehicles. So they have to be pump tested every year to be certified to be able to use.
Yeah.
So that's a non-negotiable expense that we have to do every year.
That's one of the things in your budget that we've been talking about in our budget planning meetings, that I will be talking with the chief of police and the fire chief about any other expenses that may not be in this year's budget that we didn't really discuss or know about. Any annual payments that we need to make, be it the pump test or training and all those kind of things, we need to make sure we put in that budget. Because certainly the fire department will have some training throughout the year. The police will be going to trainings and things throughout the year. Some of that's online, some of it's in Jackson. So those things that may be coming up and things they need to spend or buy, that needs to be in our budget, so that you know, and it's not last minute. Because what we have to do is make budget adjustments if it's not in the budget. Okay.
Oh, I do have one question.
Okay.
What about, hiring another part-time police officer? How is
Okay.
that coming along?
Well, Alderman Maynard, we had one applicant, and after reviewing his resume and background, I have decided to go a different direction. I do have another applicant that applied a little late, but he still applied, and I'm gonna meet with him on Friday afternoon. He's gonna be working night shift if he takes the job. I will tell you, since you asked, one of the things that we need to think about in our police and fire, that our police car that we have is gonna need some tires on it, and patrol tires, or pursuit tires, whatever they call them, and that's gonna be about $500 probably. We also did buy recently a new service arm for that potential police officer, because they, you know, we need to provide their equipment. And we will need to consider allowing them, and I will approve that they can take the car home wherever they may live, be it Savannah or wherever, I don't, you know. That is a perk, because we're only paying like $14 an hour, and they had to spend gas to get here to service, so it would be a little bit of a perk for us to provide them a service weapon and a car. But that is, you know, going fair. We don't have a lot of police officers who want to put their life on the line for $14. So it takes a special person that wants to be committed to that kind of job. So, but it's, you know, we haven't had a great turnout, so to speak. It was posted in the paper and all. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? All report. All right. This point in time, we always have room for our citizens to make comments, concerns, commendations. If you would like to speak, we'll yield the floor to you. We ask you to say your name and your permanent resident, although we know a lot of people in Saltillo don't necessarily live in Saltillo permanently, but that is part of our board requirement, and you can share with the board and I. This is not a back and forth discussion, but we may chime in if we feel we need to. So is there anyone that would like to speak with the board at this time? Citizens' concerns? Yes, ma'am.
My name is Rhonda Sisk, and I live in Henderson, Tennessee. I actually talked to you last week on the telephone. I don't know if you remember.
Right.
About the property, the Half Moon Lake property.
Right.
And you had emailed me a copy of the map.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of confusion.
Okay.
And so I was hoping, you know, if I came to the meeting, you know, maybe you could clarify this. On, the actual, with our property, and I have went back through a lot of our notes, and I think Ms. Jackson has sent us some minutes to Mr. Brent. and everything as far as the resort, for lack of better term.
Yeah, the annexation.
Yeah, the annexation, thank you. Not really for sure, about the responsibility of the bridge
Mhm.
or the concrete, it's not really a bridge,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
right now it's underwater. But, it does show it's in the city limits, and with it showing it in the city limits, you know, what we're thinking here is that, you know, the city should be responsible for helping maintain the bridge.
Yeah.
So, and you know, this is my question to you, you know, I know there's been a bunch of back and forth
Yeah.
on the whole annexation of this, and that it was done probably by mistake, you know,
Yeah.
because of the marina wanting to be in the city, and, you know, that was all before my time.
Yeah, I got you. Well,
You know, every bit of that. You know, our major concern, you know, right now is in the city limits, you know, are we in the city limits to get any benefits from the city, to be in the city limits and pay the city taxes, or are we in the county? And, you know, it's weird because when we try to have a discussion, it's really hard for us because people on this side of the road is in the city, people on this side of the road is in the county. And so we're just kind of at a loss, so, you know, just hoping maybe somebody
well,
could
yeah,
clarify.
well, I can share a little bit with you, but I can share with each individual property owner what their status is as far as if they're in the city or not.
Right.
But on that map, and yes, there was some confusion early on. We went through a lot of effort to clarify that with the ordinance that was approved, the annexation that was approved, and the new map. And I even mentioned to you that when I spoke with the planner just this past week, that I think they're still with the map is not correct, because there are some highlight portions of that. So, the county, the roads are taken care of by the county at this time. They are the ones that service the road, the county does. So I'll talk with them about that. Now, the bridge is part of the road, which, like I said, is not really a bridge. So parts of the roads are not in the city limits. And there are some properties out there, I call it the little peninsula, as you go over to the West Bank, that they are not in the city. And so that little avenue that was made to go back in there, that is not a city road. But there are some parts of that entry and access that are covered by the county road department. And so I will give you, the community, maybe a glimmer of some positive news that may be coming forth, is that the county is gonna receive upward of $3 million or so in roads funds. And so in talking to Wes Gerald, who is one of our commissioners for roads, we're hoping to benefit from some of that. But, yeah, so the roads are maintained by the county.
Okay, I mean, is it, and here again, for lack of not even knowing, is that normal, or is that a county thing, or is that a city thing, or?
What's normal is what kind of agreement was made during annexation for services, and those roads were not accepted by the city. Very similar to Davies Landing annexation. Those roads were not accepted by the city. The city has, on this particular agreement, 5 more years before they accept them. So every annexation is a little different. That one was quite long ago, but the roads were not accepted for service. And what you mentioned about some people on one side of the road in the city, some
Right.
people on the other side of the road are not in the city, when that happens, the city is not responsible for the road. That's why the county does it. So if you go down Main Street, the city owns both the right and the left side of the road. So we must take over the road, just like
Right.
leaving here and going to the ramp. The city owns property, or the city owns property. Both properties are on city, the city limits. And so the city takes care of that road. But I think there's a similar situation at Allen Drive, right? That some people are in the city, some people are not. So the county surfaces those roads. That's kind of the situation that you have.
Okay, with in carrying right along with that, in to the same matter, with the part that is in the city limits, maybe not necessarily, the road, is there any plans or any plan of a benefits to, Half Moon Lake getting any benefits like from the city as far as, streetlights or any things that the city of Saltillo actually, has to
Yeah,
offer?
sure.
What is it
yeah,
y'all feel like you need, I think? I know that the question is the streetlights. I think there does need to be one at the entry to there.
Yeah, well, I mean, basically, and here again, I'm here asking because we just don't know. And none of us want to speculate on anything unless we know what's actually going on. And if we are in the city, we'd like to, have the opportunity to, with the streetlights, or even the road that's in the city is still covered by the county, right?
Right.
Okay,
That
So-
was, yeah, that,
right, so it would be, the road thing, but then anything else, which I don't know.
Well, let me, ma'am,
When it undeveloped, when it was
it was undeveloped when it started, but let me just mention this. For the services, you do get fire and police protection. That's part of what that tax money helps cover, fire and police.
That was on
Also-
the list, thank you.
Yeah. Also, that because the road is maintained by the county, doesn't mean the city can't do a little something about it. Same thing with streetlights, that we had talked in, I think, the previous meeting about some streetlights that when we talk about placing streetlights, it's in an area that may be, prone to accident or danger or something like that. And it has to be, to install a light, has to be close to a transformer or on a pole with a transformer. So, and I've ridden down there, looked around 2 or 3 times in the last few months, that looking at where possible places were, like Alderman Maynard said, the entrance, putting a light there, and maybe in a curve here and there, but that, not all of those roads are in the city. That's another
Yeah.
issue, so, but yeah.
Well, the property that we actually own is right there beside the boat ramp. And, that's what we had said, that, since we were pretty sure that our piece was not in the city, that we
Yeah,
were just
well,
gonna
the
pay.
boat
for the
ramp is not in the city.
Right, we were just gonna pay to put a street light
Yeah.
there because.
Right.
and that's actually what a lot of people even do in town.
Yeah,
Not all streetlights you see are paid for by the city.
yeah,
A lot of them are paid for by individuals.
well, yeah, because, I
Mine
mean,
is that way.
it's a lot that I want,
Yeah,
you
but
know.
what I would say to you specifically, if there's
Yeah.
a service or something that you desire, just like Alderman Maynard kind of posed the question, I
Right.
think if you put that on paper and send an email to me,
Okay.
I can share that with the Board of Aldermen, because I don't make the decisions in a vacuum. If I have things come to us, we share that with the board and we discuss, the possibilities of doing something. Because when we add streetlights, that's gonna be a commitment from now on to pay them.
Right.
Which, I took all of your tax base out there and added it up and looked to see what it all come to, and, it's not sizable by any means.
Not at all.
Because it's a little small piece of the city tax.
Very
Now,
little,
the county, they get a little bit more money than we do, so that's
Yeah,
why
very
they
little.
help take care of the roads.
yeah,
But,
I
we would
understand
certainly entertain, if you want to write something out in detail, hey, we would like to have this or that. There's nothing absolutely wrong with making a request to the city. And I would encourage all citizens, if you got an issue, or you got a concern, or you got something that you want from the city, to be able to put it on paper and give it some detail.
okay,
Because we can kind of discuss all night, but, some things we may not be able to right now,
exactly,
and some things we may not, just like our issue with the boat ramp, we just can't run down and start doing stuff.
right,
Because we've got other partners, that we have to, to work with. So, certainly I would encourage you to, put it on paper, if I want, I'm trying to think, easy walk lane, I want that, fresh gravel, pea gravel, a chip rock or whatever. You need to put it on paper and say, hey, this is what we think we'd like to have.
okay.
So I'm not saying it's out of the question, I'm saying it just might not be doable, so.
Well, I appreciate it. I mean, you believe it or not, you've answered several of my questions. And,
Well-
and I think that'll help too, as far as, us knowing, like I said, what's actually going on.
Yeah.
Because you know, it's hard to, he
Yeah.
said, she said kind
I
of
got you.
thing.
Well, specific to the zoning that you mentioned, and I mentioned this when I called you, that there is still a little question on the map because we have Southwest Development District help us to do our planning and zoning. And they work with multiple counties all over Tennessee. And so, we just got an updated map, and I talked to the planner as soon as I got it, because I've been researching the same thing you're talking about. And we've, worked with our attorneys to go back and look at, you know, so when it was annexed, was it done properly, all those kind of things. And I can tell you, most of you probably can't see it, but I pointed out, this is a little bit larger right here. Boat ramps right in here. All of these lots over here, none of those are in the city, none. It doesn't show up on tax data either. This little road right here that they trailed out through here, that is not in the city either. But now these lots over here, as a two-story house, I think still for sale. Some of these lots, some of these lots are partially in the city because we did a number of tax adjustments on the lots on this side
paid city
of
and
the
county.
road.
We
Okay?
paid city and county on it.
Yeah. So it's a partial over here. So the line doesn't show it as a partial, and that's what I was saying, the map was not, it doesn't look completely accurate because it shows partial data, but it's, you know, it's all annexed River Residential 1, which has some very specific requirements. I would say to everybody that lives in a river residential area, there are very specific requirements for that zoning. And if you like, come up here one day, we'll make you a copy and give that to you because you just can't do anything you want to do out there.
Right.
And that's protecting you all for having a nice neighborhood.
Definitely, thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? Anyone else? Yes, sir.
David Hart, 165 Main Street. In regards to the flagpole situation earlier, has thought been given or factored into about installation costs?
Yes, that will be from another fund. It won't be included in the shipping of the pole. So we would have to contract with someone locally to do that.
Right.
Yeah, that bid request was just for the pole and delivery. Yeah. Anyone else? Okay.
About the guy that went in the river,
Mhm.
that's really bothered me, because we lost a worker that farmed with us years ago. He got confused and went off. Is there a sign that says dead end?
There is a sign that says dead end.
Well, I've seen river ahead, but,
It's just before that sign.
oh, is it?
Yeah, and that is really not a
And I
dead
go
end.
that way.
It's not really a dead end. That road,
I know that
yeah.
road too.
So there were some things I talked specific about the highway department about that, because you do have river, shoreline on one side and ferry lane, which is part of the boat ramp on the other, but, yeah, it's,
Something for people that are confused, because the way the paper says, he stopped and then went on.
yeah, that is correct. Anyone else? Okay, we're gonna have a beer board meeting following this meeting.
I'd like to talk about the gate, if you want to.
Okay, go ahead.
What's the deal on the gate?
All right, so for the alderman that didn't hear this earlier, he's asking about the gate that was put at the entrance to the old marina and campground, okay? So the deal on the gate was that we gave permission for the owners of that property to put that gate on city property until such time somebody was occupying that area. Now somebody is occupying that area and that gate has got to stay open for safety and fire access.
That gate ain't on city property.
It is too. I'm just telling you, it is. So what I would suggest
How
to you,
did you check it? Did you run the line?
yes, I did, and I talked to the attorneys and other folks as well. So, yeah, but you're not the property owner, right?
Well, I'm gonna tell you now, they said that in court, they went with the court,
Yeah.
and the deal on the gate is, it's to be closed, but it's not to be locked.
Well, that's not correct. Are you the property owner?
Huh?
Are you the property owner?
No, but I'm representing them.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
No, sir,
I've
you're
been
not.
saying that for
You
years.
think you're representing them, but you're not. Jimmy
Well-
Tate represents Mr. Feinberg in that property, not you.
Other words, huh?
Other words, you have no business in it.
I ain't got what?
No business in it.
Yeah, I have. He asked me to see after it for him.
No, he didn't. Jimmy takes seat after that property. So if you have a question about it, you might wanna go get you an attorney.
He wasn't now.
So you might wanna get you an attorney if you have a question about it. Because I'm telling you what the expectations are.
Well, let me bring this up to you then.
Well, this
That's
meeting,
that boy's front yard.
you got nothing to do with it.
That boy's got that trailer rented up there.
Isn't it?
That's his front yard.
You got nothing to do with it. It's not your property.
He what?
It's not your property. You gotta get a motion to adjourn.
Yeah, I make a motion, we adjourn.
Meeting adjourned. 7 o'clock, we'll have our beer board meeting. We'll call the Town of Saltillo Beer Board to order Tuesday, March 7th, 2023. Call the roll. Alderman Carter.
Here.
Alderman Wood.
Here.
Alderman Morgan.
Here.
Alderman Maynard.
Here.
Alderman Reeves.
Here.
Okay, on the agenda, the minutes are not listed. However, you have the minutes in front of you and should have picked up your packet in time to be able to review those. Can we get a motion to approve the minutes?
I make a motion, we approve the minutes.
A motion by Alderman Maynard,
I second.
second by Alderman Woods. Any discussion? It was quite the long meeting. Any discussion? Hearing none. Alderman Woods?
Yes.
Approved. Alderman Carter?
Yes.
Alderman Reeves?
Yes.
Alderman Morgan?
Yes.
I'll skip Alderman Maynard?
Yes.
Yep, and I failed to say that we do have a quorum tonight, so, the minutes have been approved. New business, approval of a beer license for Rivertime Deli and Market. You have an application in front of you. You can see the name on it. That is a minority-owned business, I would add. That's my wife's business, and I will not shy away from that. I am not, I'm just a grunt, I'm just a worker. So you have a beer license in front of you for sale of beer on premises.
On premises, not
On
carry
premises consumption, no carryout. And the top on your application, it shows number 2, selling, storing, serving on premises where sold. You cannot do both at the same location. You can only have one permit. You can't do sell on premises and sell to go. You can have 2 businesses connected with 2 separate entrances, and you can't do that. Okay. Rivertime Market Deli, you want to say anything about the request, the business? No?
We're just planning to open up a little quick serve restaurant, making sandwiches and pizzas, serving sodas and beer. Hang out.
Will can we ask a question?
Sure.
Will there be inside dining and outside dining?
At the moment, only inside dining.
Oh, okay.
Well, with the beer. You can take your food outside, but not the beer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, the outside dining is gonna be awesome.
Yeah. I think you're gonna have soft serve ice cream over there, but yeah, there's a little patio extension outside, but the way our beer permit reads that you can't go out that front door, you can only go out the side, you can't come out the front door through the street. So that's gonna be inside only for alcohol
You
beverage.
ain't like Granny. Granny give me a hug every time.
Yeah.
Well,
All right, so,
yeah,
any other questions from Alderman?
When are you open?
We plan to open in the next 2 weeks or so.
So before the end of the month?
Yes.
I didn't know that with you.
So if you notice on the permit, it does meet the requirements of 25 seats, 2 restrooms. The owner is here and will be
What are
running.
you doing
I
there?
make a motion that we, approve,
A motion by
to
Alderman
give,
Maynard.
Ms.
That
Billings,
thing is kicking my
a
butt.
beer permit, beer license.
Motion by Alderman Maynard, second.
Second.
Second by Alderman Woods. Call for the question. Alderman Reeves.
Thank you.
Alderman
Yeah,
Maynard,
Mama did. I feel
Alderman
like-
Morgan,
Yes.
And your
Alderman
brother.
Wood,
Yes.
Alderman Carter.
I think it's there too. I ain't fool.
That beer license has been approved. You need to pay your money before the night's over, I guess. Is that how we do it?
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Check.
Yeah. All right, so, all right, any other new business? Okay, as always, we have an opportunity for citizens to give comments, concerns, and commendations. And if we have any, please state your name and your permanent resident. So, do we have anyone that would like to speak?
I do.
Go right ahead.
Hi, evening, Jennifer Barca. I live here in Saltillo. I have a question about the fatality that happened at the river. Is there something that's going to be done for not another veteran to die that way senselessly? Is there something that's going to be done with?
Yes, we covered that in our regular business meeting.
Okay, so I just have to wait till,
Yeah, I mean, we can share it with you. I don't think there's a problem with that to tell you. So, we have talked to the experts in the field of transportation and boat ramps and things like that. And so we are going to install a flashing stop light. We're gonna put a stop bar on the street. We got one now, but stop bar will be that reflective new stuff, and there'll be a stop ahead sign. TWRA has committed to helping us with some signage beyond the stop sign. So the city does not own that property. So the TWRA has some responsibility to assist us in putting some additional signage. We may also put some rumble strip close to the stop sign. I didn't mention that earlier because I just forgot about it. But we have, according to the Department of Transportation, the signage is good in its location. They did advise us to what we call fence post, some additional signs. And if you haven't been down there lately, we put an additional stop sign on the left side already.
okay,
And then the Department of Transportation is gonna help us to develop 2 new danger Tennessee River ahead on the reflective stuff. There's only one that's kind of yellowish school bus color. We'll put 2 of those up as well. So we are doing some things, but we're not, I mean, certainly veterans, as you mentioned, that we are concerned about that, but everyone
right,
will benefit from
absolutely.
that, yeah. So,
Because
yeah.
I was told that that was the 7th death that has been, that has happened due to this opening not being.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that it's not being
Right.
controlled or anything, maybe, but just a little bit more.
Well,
But now you're taking care of it.
We're
Now, is that
doing
gonna cost
some
the city
things.
money?
Yes, it's gonna cost the city money.
And we have
Yeah.
the funds to,
We have
get
some
that.
funds to address some of those needs, but we're looking at the help from TWRA and our state partners in county and the state and the grants and everything. So it's not gonna be a quick fix to some degree. But I will add, and like what I mentioned earlier in the meeting, that the fatalities, I don't have the data in front of me right now, but most of those fatalities involve impaired driving. So it wasn't just like somebody was lost and running the river, but alcohol and drugs have been involved in other cases. This case is not complete, so we don't know the details of it, but when we find out all the reports from the Tennessee Highway Patrol, we'll know a little bit more. So all of the facts, for me, have not been established. But we do know it was a fatality, and it was a veteran, and it was very unfortunate for all, so. Yeah. Anyone else? Anyone? Okay. Hearing none, I will ask for adjourn. Motion to adjourn. Motion by Alderman Reed to adjourn. Thank you all for coming tonight.